about his royal wedding, and we want to dissect certain aspects of it in terms of culture and class. Why? Because like we talked about in the morning, 100 years ago, it would have been nearly impossible to have a black woman, forgive my French, sitting in
royal setup.
Yes, a royal setup, especially with the colonialists. However, that changed, and even in today, people's race is still such a big issue. Closer home, culture is a big issue, and so is class in terms of rich and poor. To help us do this, Manke, we have Pastor Kuria.
Karibu sana mimi.
Karibu sana mimi.
Unasema karibu.
Amesema karibu sana mimi.
Karibu sana mimi.
Karibu sana mimi.
Yes.
Self actualization.
Yes. Ukikosa mtu akuandikia kadi ya Christmas, jiandikie.
Jiandikie.
Weka chini.
Hata success card unajiandikia.
Yeah.
Success to myself. And Roy Karuhizi, who, as you can see, is already questioning, but coach, this will continue throughout the entirety of the show. And so some of the pictures, I mean, just look at some of the pictures, you know, that were, you know, that are still dominating and will continue to dominate the social media space. That's Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Very interesting name of the place where the Duke and Duchess of, and yeah, so those will there. Those are some of the latest pictures, and you know, now that they're releasing from the photographer, quite in that one picture, like especially that one where we can see the mother, we can see Queen Elizabeth there and the whole family, and that one is the one that is what ladies call tear-inducing. Mtu akiona hii another Korean anasema, oh my God, this could be us. But ABCD. So
this could be us.
Yes, this could be us.
Lakini hatuna class.
Ama hatuna
culture. Ambayo inaingia huko.
Yes. So first of all,
first of all, first situation where there was a clash of culture, ni watu ambao wako hapa. Watu walivaa nguo kuangalia TV.
What?
Watu walivaa nguo mpya kuangalia TV.
Oh yes.
Yeah, people dressed up for a wedding.
Yeah,
that they were not invited to.
That was the.
That's already a clash of culture. You don't fit in.
You dress up to go and watch TV.
Yeah. Hizi ni nguo zangu za kuangalia TV.
So what does that say of? Because I know CNN also did a story. Richard Quest did that story as well.
Yes.
So what do you think about that?
I think first of all we're talking about forcing ourselves into a place where. Either we don't belong or we're not comfortable. To be honest, there's some people who went for certain events and they belong in that class. They didn't have to start saving before they went for the event to go and watch TV, right? Because the price some people spend buys enough TVs, right? But some of them belong there. The rest are forcing and want to be there. There's nothing wrong with aspiration. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with desiring to be at a certain class, but pastor has got his limitations of where he can reach.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know that. I've seen it. Where when he enters, even the guards get worried. You start seeing security surrounding the meza, yeah, because he doesn't belong there. Yeah, basically, kama wewe ni mtu wa punda, usipande farasi, right? Stick to where you belong. And I think that you need to grow gradually into the next level or the next class. Here to harakishe. Regarding her, I think let's not blame. She actually is a classy woman, and you know sometimes class comes from who you are internally as a person. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's always a financial thing that will determine your class.
That's often the misconception.
The misconception is that your class is determined by how much you have in your pocket. Right. No, your class is determined by how you carry yourself, your countenance, your appearance, your behavior. That will determine your class. Kama, you see, this is called general class.
GE.
Mass market. Yes. Yes. Mass market.
Na huruma.
You see, Willie. One thing I do, I miss Tuesday because of this guy.
The market is talking.
But what I know now is that everybody can create his or her own culture. And class. It depends with the income that you have. Because you don't force the income to be in you. You have to look for it. You see, Roy said some people save because they want to do something. But others just pick because they have it.
Yeah, they belong.
They belong to that class. So I would like to say that there is no need of forcing yourself in a class that you are not innate.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing of breaking the culture. And when we are talking about the culture, can we come down and see even the marriage of different tribes? When I marry a Luo and I'm a Kikuyu, at one day, one time, there will be
A clash.
culture crash somewhere. You get what I mean? I don't mean that it is evil, it is not evil, it is not bad.
It's good.
It's very good, yeah? But you see, we have to mind so much about the culture. Which culture have you taught? Because the culture that you know, somebody taught you. Somebody taught you what you know and told you, don't do this, don't do this. We don't do this, we don't do this. Like now, Roy have said that I'm saved. I'm a pastor. Imagine now finding me in a disco. It doesn't mean that all those people, they are devil. They are not devils because it is packed. And it's not the devil who is dancing or singing. No. But you find me there dancing. You'll tell me, hey, boy.
That's not dancing, just say moving.
Yeah, this is not where you belong. We are trying to get out of here and you are just coming back. And even somebody can slap me because of going back to where I'm not supposed to be. So I think when we're dealing with culture, we have to put some rights and we have to be so sensitive.
I think, yes, unfortunately, I don't want to just support someone else outside my class. Yeah, but sometimes you have to just to accept what is there. Come on, yeah.
Shots fired, people.
Yeah, so sometimes the Farasi family has to accept the Punda family.
Punders.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'd like to acknowledge and appreciate what he's just said in the sense that don't force, right? The whole question here was, oh, black. She was black. Does she fit inside this class? There's an essence that if she naturally fits inside a class, you can naturally fit. You don't have to financially fit in, but you can naturally fit in. But the only problem with such situations is it begins to give the impression that you can just jump outside class or jump outside culture and fall in naturally. We do not know how this couple has worked themselves to be where they are today in terms of the way they built their relationship and stuff like that. But we have to be, as Pastor is saying, very sensitive to the way we put ourselves or fit ourselves into new cultures or classes. What we tend to see a lot is people saying, I aspire, and therefore I want to move from zero to hero. I think it's a process and a growth pattern. As you need to build toward it, and you need to acknowledge it. That there might be a clash at some point, right? There might be a clash of either your class or your culture at some point. As long as the couple is ready for it, it's going to happen. What is wrong is when people pretend that it doesn't exist. He's saying it's right for Luo and Kikuyu to be together, but he's saying just acknowledge that you have different cultures and you'll have to learn to work together to make things work. It's not going to naturally happen.
And also, Willis, there is this, we call it provision. Before you reach the provision, you must go 3 steps. The first step, there is a promise of reaching the provision. But between the provision and the promise, there is the problems. People don't like acknowledging the time of becoming. Jesus told Peter, follow me and I'll make you fisher of men. I will make you. There was the period of being made to become fisher of men. You cannot be a fisher of men in a fortnight. There is the process. So if you want to introduce yourself to a certain culture, then you have to accept the process. You see, many people jump. They want to jump. There is no kangaroo jumping from where you are to a new culture.
You have seen kangaroos?
Yeah.
Okay, just ask.
Yeah. You know, you're my son, so I don't mind. I don't mind you talking like that because I'm a father who have raised 8 children.
Come on.
8 children cannot take care of just 2 parents.
Yes.
Now.
Nimeingishwa sio kwa box. Hiyo nimeingishwa kwa container.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
So let's mind, because even many marriages today they are breaking because people want to jump in new cultures
or new classes
which they don't belong to instead of accepting the time of becoming.
You see, Willis,
the process. There is the process.
Willis, where we have to begin to accept that we're basically saying stick to your lane, and if you want to change lanes, indicate. Gradually change lanes. What we have a problem here is that we keep seeing people jump, because a lot of the conversation is, you see your story about this, you can just become. People have not acknowledged that there's work to change that culture, or for her to grow into that culture, or maybe naturally she fits into that culture or class. They were determining it by her background, her color. They're making it very simple. That is why for us, the guys who are actually forcing is a couple of people who are forcing to sit in certain groups and watch the wedding with certain people where they don't belong, because they believe it's their place.
Their place. Or they're confusing you ku aspire, like you saying. Aspiring by attending. Unattend kwa sababu hata mimi siku moja nataka kuenda huko, so acha nene nione vile vitu huwa zinafanywa.
Yes. But you see that's why I felt sad about aspiration, Pastor. Eh? You see, there are those who say move from A to B. Okay, let's just start from behind. Let's move from D to C. Yeah? I'm in D and I want to be in C, and I say gradually I want to appreciate that couple. I want to look at them and aspire, and I say that's a great thing for them to do. But then what I was noticing is a certain couples jumping and going to sit in certain places where they don't belong, with certain people who are not their friends, certain classes where they don't fit in, sit there because I want to say that we are now together for the sake of this wedding. That is the same habit we're taking sometimes into relationships, where you're finding two people from completely two different worlds force-fitting themselves instead of trying to work at bringing their worlds together. You get what I mean?
So what you're saying is that it's not entirely wrong, or rather to have a different culture, different class. It's just that there's some work.
There's a work involved. There's some investment.
See, for people, for the viewers who are watching us now, for them to be who we are, we have gone to books so that we can do the research of what we say here. But they are always watching Manchester and United. You know,
you can't mix Manchester United and Arsenal.
Yes.
and what we are doing here. There is something we did for us to be where we are
in life.
But whatever somebody is doing, you must look at the repercussion of the culture that you are forming. Because another day I said, you form a habit, but the problem of the habit that you have formed, it decides your future.
So let's look at this example as well, and look at some of the what we can call maybe offshoots or whatever was happening behind the scenes. So whenever there's a culture and a class conflict, there's also the element of family. We saw how Meghan Markle's family, sijui brother yake aliandikia Prince Harry akasema usioe sister yangu. Haya, mwingine akaanza kugrow marijuana akaita Markle Sparkle. The father was posing for pictures, you know, so that to sell. Well, let's say allegedly there. So what happens? How does somebody deal with family, especially when you know that unatoka kwa hii class unaenda kwa a different class, and also unatoka kwa hii culture unaenda kwa a different culture?
I mean, first of all, we have to say is that's what we're talking about in terms of there will be challenges, there will be conflicts, and as you enter these things, you need to acknowledge them and don't look at them and say, oh, and deny that they won't exist. Those will be part of the thing. So as you've rightly put it, those are some of the first signs and challenges that will be met. Remember, Princess Diana went through the same thing.
Exactly, and hers was...
You say how it ended,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So we're saying stick to your lane, but we don't really mean that in a bad way. We mean if you want to change lanes, indicate. Gradually,
also be ready for the challenges.
Yes. Come on, mtu wa Nduthi, stick to Nduthi lane. Four-wheel drive, pole pole. Don't jump, because when you jump, there are consequences and repercussions. Anyway, Pastor has something. So you see, like us guys have worked to be with him. In this class, to mix with such class, I've had to work at it.
Remember, you can send your comments using 22422. Na mtu ameanza tu na kusema hapa, Obama set the bar, Luther King dream, George from Mombasa.
Mambo za kudream ya kuruka. Class.
Yes. Anyway,
it takes work, Willis.
22422.
Willis.
It takes work. I have disinfected myself to sit here.
We have a problem. We have a problem here. And the problem we have, let us not try to fix the devil in it. Devil has nothing to do with the problem that we have. The problem that we have of culture crashing belongs to us. Because you want to bite more than you can chew. You see, if you bite more than, either you puke or you do other funny things. Don't say when you puke is the devil. It's not the devil. It is you who have mixed
your
things.
Greed of wanting something that you don't belong into.
You get me. You get me. So the culture, when we talk about the culture and we keep on repeating the word culture, I'm looking at a man who is getting married. Are you getting married when you are a kid? No, you are a grown up. When you are grown up, you have left your parents. How are your parents then adding sauce and soil and salt and what in your marriage? You see?
Or relationship.
Or relationship. It means you don't have power to make decisions. So many people have got no power to make decisions. They are finding themselves hanging nowhere. They don't even have class. They are cultureless.
Because you know what it is, what I have to acknowledge and accept in terms of what you said is, you begin to deny who you are. When we need to understand that, don't let that royal wedding completely confuse you and take you into this fairy tale world where these things automatically you can jump from here to here.
Because what you're seeing basically is the end product.
You're seeing the end product.
We don't know what's been happening behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, we don't know how much work has taken place. So we naturally think that unaweza kujingisha kwa box yoyote. No, you can't just enter any box. It takes a lot of work for you to enter that box, right? It doesn't happen naturally, and it's a process. You work yourself out of your lane. And us guys want to deny ourselves the hard work that is required to move from here to here. That's why we have got slave princesses. And they're not from Sussex. They're just from Slaytown. Yeah? And where they want to jump from here to there. And when they jump from here to there, believe me, the short term is joy. The long term is a huge problem because you did not acclimatize yourself to the steps or the places you aspire to be, which is a process. Sio kuruka.
Right.
Yeah?
So then if you break it down to society today, is it that because we have situations where the whole kunakuwa na hiyo shida ya sponsor, huyu akiingia huku sasa anaitwa gold digger, etc, and then it becomes like for lack of a better one, get rich quick scheme.
But you see that it has,
or like you're saying, let's use Roy's words, jumping.
It has its own consequences. You get what I mean? It has its own consequences. If you are not ready to bear the consequences,
you've got to be ready. Don't jump.
Don't jump into that thing, because I'm over 50. When a young girl is coming to me, I'm a human being. I did things. I mastered things. I did them faster. God made me be a pastor. But that did not change Korea. I'm still Korea. If a young girl comes to me and starts shuharing with me, she'll get what she needs. But you see, look here, Roy. She does not have future.
Lack of class.
She does not have future in me.
Yes.
So what type of culture is she into?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, she'll leave me. She'll hang to Willis.
So what you're saying is that culture see to tribe. No, culture need the habits.
The habit that you are forming. The habit that you are forming. That is your culture. Many people have different cultures. Yeah? And other cultures are pathetic.
Yeah.
They are rotten. And somebody must change. Because at the end of the day, you are a role model to somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody, maybe you are only the Bible that somebody knows.
Yeah. You see,
so try to make an error. Then error will pass to all the generation behind you.
You know, there's a song recently, I think we've been, that's made a lot of moves, also has had a lot of impact. You know, This Is America, which of course is by Childish Gambino. Let's leave this one out.
Camaro, I know Camaro
this
song.
This one now, what I've said has just, I can hear his brain short-circuiting. So you can smell burning rubber. Ngoja. That song displays people getting caught up, right? In modern culture, modern excitement, modern trends, and forgetting the reality of what's happening in the background.
Right.
So while people are dancing in the front, there's a lot of trouble happening in the background of that song. And it's just saying that shift of refusing to accept, to explain what's going on in your real world and living the dream. What we tend to do and what social media has done for a lot of us is start creating dream cultures or dream classes for us to belong to. People start posting food that they're eating once every 45 months. Yeah? They take that food, save it 45 times. Sometimes I think they even take pictures of other people's food from the restaurant they're sitting in. So long distance shot.
Yeah.
Right? Then start posting it. Because they're showing, pastor, food or culture they want to belong to. And therefore denying where they are. Then if they took a photo of their food, it looks like flooding a Nairobi road. Their food is not extremely beautiful. But they're posting this in to show what they aspire or they desire to have. Willis, it's important to recognize your class or culture, where you exist. We are not denying the royal wedding is that fairy tale, it's that dream. But it doesn't always happen like that. Don't let that one confuse you that things just smoothly jump from here to there. Because the way people were talking about it, they were like, kume, nothing's nothing, everyone's together, everyone's united. It's not that easy, it's not that real. It actually is a process and actually is work. We will really know the test of this couple as
time goes by. Yes.
As time goes by.
Yes.
It's a beautiful ceremony, very beautiful ceremony, and very beautiful effort by them to come together. But there's work involved. There's a lot of work that we deny or don't see, or start saying it's all smooth sailing from here. No.
The Bible says in Ecclesiastes.
Bible say it again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7.
Ecclesiastes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But you understand what I mean. I'm not an English teacher.
It's not like statistics.
No.
Is it?
Better the end of a thing than the beginning. Better the end of a matter than the beginning. Mimi situishi na vijana wakishikana hivi na wasichana kwa barabara, na tisho na yule mzee amshika mka wake bado wakiwa katika uzee. You see? That means tisho ina hii royal whatever. Ni nyingi zimefanywa.
I eat with royal whatever.
Royal whatever.
They know invited you. Are now invited to the royal whatever.
Yes.
No, one thing he said that's very interesting.
Roy, let me finish.
I'm telling you.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm over 30 years in marriage.
30.
Yeah, I've not broken my marriage.
That's
and I'm not ready to do so. How many young people today,
yes,
with the type of the wedding they are seeing on the TV, that they can last for 30 years? Another guy was getting married and he was telling me that my wedding will only be carried by black limousines. Nobody even gave him one single car. Because he did not have one of his.
Own.
He did not have money. But he has, you know, he had borrowed culture.
That's not his.
Which is not his. So at the end of the day, he was ashamed. So everybody must watch that the culture that you have chose, either it will make you ashamed or it will shame your future.
You know, Willis, one thing is, when I was trying to catch him short, it was actually to support what he had already started with. You know, when he talks about being married for 30 years, what is really surprising is how much investment and celebration we put in weddings. I know it's because we hope for the best and it's the beginning of a special journey. But it's how little we recognize good marriages. You rarely see people celebrating and saying, man, you see what that couple has gone through. The Obamas are probably one of the only couples we see people celebrating in terms of, whoa, what a couple. What have they gone through? What are their challenges? We'll only recognize weddings. That's why immediately you finish the wedding, that couple is on their own. As the journey starts, Willis, the next morning, gone.
I was watching something like
it's how serious we take those weddings.
I think Oprah something here.
Yes.
10 times that Obama has kissed in public, you know, and they are showing that is his culture. Try to do that here. To kiss your wife in the church.
Torture. You need cybercrime.
To kiss your wife in the market. You see, you are trying to.
That is whistling. That's not kissing.
Sorry.
That is whistling.
We used to do it like that.
You're
in your number. That is whistling.
Yeah, I'm of that. I came from that class. I didn't come from your class.
You're 30 years.
Kupiga binja.
Yeah, kupiga binja. Kwanza sisi tulikuwa tunawaita, kuna msichana alikuwa anaitwa Jerry. Unasimama kwa unasema na yeye anasema unamwambia oka. That was our type. That was our class. Sasa sasa ni watu wa kuchumbiana na simu. Sisi tulikuwa tunatoka wapi simu?
You know that was cybercrime in that time.
In those days.
That's just crime. It's called catcalling and it's a crime.
This is true. And it was banned in, what was it, Tanzania, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway. But you see, that is where we have come from. When you see me with a phone, yeah? Don't try to speculate and say that phone is too expensive. Look at where I've come from. I am a professional pit latrine digger. That was my work. And God lifted me from there. You see, so the culture that I am in now, if my son tries to jump from where he is to my culture, he will crash in.
You know, what I think where we're coming from, Willis, is very simple. We're saying don't confuse aspiration and denial. You see, have the phone, right? And he's used phones as example, the mobile lifestyle. Have the phone that you deserve or the next phone you want to move to. Don't have a phone that's so far off who you are. Because then you start existing in denial of what it is. I'm not saying don't give yourself good things, but sometimes we tend to stretch it. We tend to lie. We move straight.
Fake it till you make it, or fake it until you're fake.
Sometimes fake it till you keep faking it for fake it. It's you fake it forever.
Until you make it.
No, you fake it forever. It's called fake it forever. Where you move straight from, as I said, from Punda to Farasi. It's supposed to be a gradual step. And that's why I say, because you get lost in a whole culture that you don't belong to. I think the other day we're dealing with cybercrime bills and all sorts of things. And what the problem is, I think the idea was that the law is put in place when we start losing our culture, who we are, by extending and developing new behavior that is not ours. Because we're in denial of who we are and we start acting in certain ways and misbehaving. We're a very respectful community, but look at the way people behave on social media, abusing certain honorable positions as easily as there are people who are met off the street. Basically what I'm just saying is you start becoming someone you're not because you want to jump to something that you don't belong in. As we talked about posting food in a certain way that I'm eating in a certain restaurant, that's not really a thing.
There is that's before. Hold on.
That will bring back.
Just before we go on,
in your space.
I've seen somebody asking a question here, and we just like to reiterate again that when we're talking about culture, it's not necessarily culture, tribe.
No.
Culture is even the different habits that you have formed. So much so, they become your culture.
They become who you are.
Who you are.
A friend of mine, a lady, went to America and stayed for 6 years. And when she came back here, she was talking to me, telling me, you know, Paul, she was doing like, you know, Paul.
So hii ni nywele.
Anarusha nywele na hana yake ni fupi. You know, yake ni fupi. Lakini sasa amechukua kacha ya wenyewe na unaona mpaka anafanya na hana amenyoa.
I think he's talking about himself.
No, not myself. It's what you know. I start climbing on new cultures,
yes,
which at the end of the day they will shame you and trying to speak better English than an Ingrid person.
I think
even calling the very get rai. I'm still eating get rai.
And Makaria.
And within 1 week,
Mawanga.
Nasikia nasema taigedeli. Taigedeli.
This guy is just basically saying kama wewe ni mtu wa chapati usikule pizza.
No. Sisemi hivyo. Nasema please don't cribe on other people's culture without having basic knowledge about it.
Yeah.
Let's start from the bottom.
I think aspiration is good, Willis.
Yeah. When we start from the bottom and start climbing slowly with a certain culture, we are going to. It's like Christianity. Christianity is not religion. It's a way of life. Unless you are born in that way of life, you can't be one.
Right.
You can.
So there are some of the. I guess we have some tweets there that we want to sample. I see one from Apprentice 254, and we can just stick it there. It says that there are many slay queens who wanted to even be on the 10th wife of one of the prince if given a chance. Yeah. There's a lot of tasks after marriage. Doing a wedding is not the issue. Happiness is what matters in a marriage between both of you. That is what was there on the hashtag Power Breakfast. I don't know if you have another one. Another one of the tweets where we're continuing talking to us using the hashtag Power Breakfast was just what that person has said is that you're willing to give up part of yourself or who you are just because of the title.
Because of a moment, a title,
prince,
a moment.
Yeah, and even, title of maybe honorable, title of maybe, I don't know, pastor.
That's why we're saying, we're looking at the example of people who went to view that wedding in certain places, and we're saying there are certain people who belonged in those places. There are many people who forced themselves into spaces where they don't belong. And that was just a sign for us that, wait, what are we becoming? Are we beginning to live in denial? If it was our parents, they wouldn't force themselves to go to certain places where they're playing a certain amount of money that look like phone numbers. Yeah? If they know that's not where they belong. But there are people who belong there. We're not saying it is wrong for you to not want to be there. But we're just saying, please sometimes start by being comfortable with where you are and appreciate the journey to the next space. And if two people from two different places in a journey want to mix and start coming together, amazing, great thing. But let them not deny where they are coming from.
Where they're coming from, yeah.
And some of the cultures that people are introducing themselves to, they are really frustrated. Many people in this country are frustrated just because of one thing, trying to jump into a culture which does not belong to you, and you are not ready to come back, and you know that you missed the target. You missed it. Excuse me, don't be ashamed. Just come back to the junction and follow the right route, and you are going to end up to where you want. But now many people are frustrated. They are just there. Mtu anavutwa kazi na hataki kuambia mke wake amevutwa kazi na anakuja Nairobi tu. One fool. Why should I do that? Ati ndio ni no. Mimi nikivutwa kazi, I'll tell my wife sina job. Sasa tuanze tena.
But you whisper, you don't shout like that.
No.
Sina job.
Sasa unaenda kucheka sina job. No, that's not a laughing matter.
But I'm just saying.
But let me ask. Okay,
Willis,
yeah.
If you're sitting in economy class, there's nothing wrong.
Yes.
If you want to talk to people in first class and you're sitting in economy class, that is okay. In fact, it's okay as long as you send them a text. Usikimbie uketi huko kuongea nao. You did not buy that seat. Na uchukue selfie na watu wa first class alafu kuja urudi kwa kiti yako ya economy. No. Be comfortable in your economy class ticket and enjoy the journey as you walk very slowly towards first class. Or as Pastor does it as you reverse into first class because him hawezi tembea. Yake ni
kurudi inadhudha.
Unajua driver wengi wamevutwa job kwa nini?
Kwa nini?
It's because they are making their bosses friends, their friends. Mari boss anakaa, huyu driver anataka kukaa hapa na ambiage best boss friend wa boss yake. Wacha nikwambie. Let me tell you. Nini? Na huyu boss anamwangalia hivi anajua si wewe ni dere. Kesho huko job because you are introducing yourself into a culture where you don't belong there.
So what slay queens are?
Right.
What is a sign of jumping?
And also what we want to say is that and also what I'd like us to also talk about, because it's also not bad, like you say, to be with your dere, because you're trying to make enemies, but you can aspire for more. So how do you draw that distinction of just understanding where you are as you? It's not everybody is good. Everybody aspires to be millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire.
What we're saying is, want to be a billionaire, not bad. Want to be a millionaire, want to be a shillingionaire,
okay. A thousandaire.
Yeah, a thousandaire is okay. Yeah. Otongolonaire, it's also okay. Yeah. But as you desire that, don't start denying and acting like you have arrived. The problem we have, and why we always hear these things of playboys and slay queens and all sorts of things.
Ben 10s.
It's because those people exist in a situation where you deny where you are and start assuming you're something else. And if you enter relationships with that attitude, they do not last long. What we're saying is don't act it, aspire for it. Now what happens is we're saying when people were entering these places where they didn't belong to go and watch TV, they were acting and even have the arrogance and the attitude like they have already arrived. That denial is so dangerous. We're saying acknowledge that there will be challenges. The same way this lady has entered the marriage with the prince, and she now is a princess. It is a gradual step. She is not automatically in the culture and class as a princess. She will grow into that role. Are you getting? She'll have to grow into it.
We have another tweet there from Joshua Mwai. And this is what it says. It says, in short, sticking to your lane ni kucheza kama wewe. Reverend Curry, who was the woman, I loved his sermon at the royal wedding. He said, love is the answer. The power of love. When we discover fire in love. Anyway, when we discover the power of love, it will be like man has reinvented and rediscovered fire.
That's not your class.
Okay. You see class young.
Well, it is
you belong for salam.
It is good to use what is between your ears.
The brain.
The brains. Like now me, I know I'll enter heaven, but I'm not going there tomorrow. So I plan my things as if there is no heaven. I cannot start pretending now.
You're already there.
That I'm already there. I'm sitting with 2 drunkard guys here. now I start saying that now I don't want to sit.
We want the record. No, we want Mr. Speaker.
I apologize for that.
I
apologize for that.
Jeff and Aitanga Monica Winnie, we want that expunged from the record.
I apologize.
We should be expunged from the record.
We're not boarding that.
I'm sitting between 2 people who does not believe in heaven, and I believe in heaven, but only the thing I should know is I am in citizen. This is not heaven. So I should not bring a culture
act like you're rich,
as if I'm in heaven. And from here, I'm not going to Paju. I'm going to enter my car. It will go passing other people's car better than mine, and they are not even saved. I should not start now possessing other people's car which are not even written for sale. But I possess that car. I possess that house. That is spiritual madness. Because I have refused
to accept
and to grow from the bottom to where I'm supposed to be. I plan better things. I plan. But the one who makes my plan accomplished is God. But I have to start looking for a shiringi because njaa hayombewi.
Lakini yako ikaineka kuna njaa sana.
You see, you're punishing those buttons.
No, hii button wapi mtu anaanza
it's being overworked.
Hii button inaitwa Mandela.
Yeah, it's fighting
for freedom.
Yeah.
No.
You're overworking it.
No.
It wants to quit its job.
No. Delete that.
Now. All right, go on.
Use your brains.
Yeah.
Accept your humble beginning, but plan for a better one.
Brilliant.
And that one will be okay.
It makes sense once in a while by mistake.
I'm shocked today. By the way, we've had a lot of. I want to agree with. I want to agree with. Roy, I say that a lot of times until we need to check if.
All right. So when you jump on other people's brains and fail to use yours, you are going to be frustrated, definitely.
And the other thing, I guess, because also what we are seeing, another thing we can pick from what happened is that she said that she had the right friends. One, to the extent where she did not want to pick a bride because she didn't want her friends to pigane. And two, because she says her friend set her up for this date with the prince or whatever. So, because I know that sometimes the pressure to change culture and or class is because of friends. And Arnold has said it the same because he has this tweet that I want to read out. He says it this way. He says, Power Breakfast, #Power Breakfast, we cannot blame young people for their cultural adaptations. However, we can guide and counsel them on responsible adult behavior. That's what Arnold says. And because Nimabeshte is friends.
I still say
the groupings.
Megan is not automatically a princess. She grows into that role. It grows by you moving or changing your culture from here to here, or your class from here to here. It's not something that everyone, as they're watching, they're saying it's automatic. But they're saying a lot of it is influence from friends and whatever to become what. And what we admire in them is the maturity to be able to do what they're trying to do and accept the conflicts and the challenges that will come with it. You can already see some signs of maturity in how they're handling the matter. But
including the fact that before she deleted her Instagram account.
Yeah. So I think those are just signs of it. But you see, one of the things is a lot of what we're doing today is, as you're saying, pressure from friends. Her friends supported her growth and not challenged her current. Challenge your current where your friends are looking at you and saying, Bana, you need to move.
Who got a prince, boy?
Bana, we bana. No, it's support of let's go, let's try. Let's aspire to. So they feel that she belonged in that space and she could grow into that space. But what we do in today's life and the way we hang around our friends, sometimes they can make us feel that we're classless or cultureless.
Right.
And put us under pressure to not be comfortable with who we are. Those are bad friends.
At Mwangi Moses 16 also has this to say on Twitter. It's one of the tweets. He says, it's not wrong to follow others' culture. Copy-paste what is only useful to you. Otherwise, were it not for the westernization, Moses Kuria, ungekuwa bado unavaa ngozi ya punda around you.
My God.
I think he meant Pastor Kuria. Well, anyway, there was another one, I guess, another long one as well, but we're going to see if we can get that one. But like he said, so he's saying we pick what you want. Kama sahi umevaa suit mzuri, otherwise sahi ungekuwa umekaa hapa studio Nangozi.
Now, let me tell you.
Actually,
we are talking about the royal wedding, which occurred maybe is it this week or last
Saturday
week?
last week.
Saturday last week. But you know, it has its shortcomings. Where was the father of the girl?
Yeah,
Was he in the wedding?
No.
Because he didn't fit in. He had an operation.
She's alive. She's not dead.
He's alive.
He's not dead.
Two things. One, he had that
was
scandal
unwell.
where he was selling pictures.
Would you
for
like
his-
your
for
wedding,
money.
your father
and
to miss
two,
your wedding?
he had a heart surgery on Wednesday.
Excuse me. Would you like your father to miss your wedding?
No.
So is that wedding a role model?
A model wedding.
But he was unwell.
Alikuwa na heart
Excuse me.
operation.
Those are excuses.
Give me a break. Stop putting excuses where not supposed. They are not fitting there. Let me go back to my point. Let's humble ourselves and have a basic, beginning, which will not frustrate us as we grow up. Because one problem we have in this country of ours, the system of education that we have does not train anybody to employ himself. Unaambiwa soma ndio upate kazi. Sio soma
Ukishapata
ndio
kazi,
you
pata
see the
bibi.
culture which was developed in us when our minds were vacuum.
For a long time.
I knew you were going to say something. I knew it. Anyway, go on. I knew immediately you said it. I knew Roy was going to say something.
This guy has enough space between his ears to house about 40 people.
Anyway,
About 4 families can fit there.
as you get together at the end,
Vacancy here.
hold on. As you get it together, hold on, Pastor. The Ngozi says
In
this
between his ears, it's to let, space, to let. Yeah.
on Twitter. At the Ngozi, says this on Twitter. He says you need to set a culture for yourself, so long as it is morally upright.
Yes,
Set a
I'm
culture
with
for
that
yourself.
guy.
Owanga Jeff says, what informs class today? Is it the size of your wallet, or is it the content rather of character and your brain?
You see. Good.
Do you have
very
another
good
one?
Very good one. Yes.
Another one? All right.
Let me I love that statement because the problem is that herein lies the problem. Because before, class was about integrity, about countenance, how you appear and how you carry yourself. Today, because of this new Slay Queen generation, class is purely defined
By your pocket.
by a pocket.
Right.
Because what were we discussing about that wedding? About how much people were being charged to enter certain places.
So that was the one that
Had
was
it
here.
been
right?
a while ago,
Right.
Willis, people would have naturally known whether they deserve to watch the wedding there or not. They don't have to be defined or
Excuse me.
clustered according to how much they're going to pay. I don't have to be told, if you don't pay 100,000, then you're not of this class. No, naturally, you would know I am not in that comfortable space. But because of where we are today, we force fit ourselves or try to buy ourselves into places we don't belong. Class should not be purely defined by financial status.
And
This is a result. You see?
So there's Sosten Kipchunga.
We have accommodated that.
Another tweet coming in here as these two sort out there. They are mini squab. So Peter Kipchunga says premature
CSR, Willis, tunafanya.
So Peter Sosten, sorry, I beg your pardon. Sosten Kipchumba says premature adaptation of other people's culture can make you be seen as unajifanya, unajibeba. It's good to be real. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Just to answer Loy and just to comment. There are only 3 things which are loved unconditionally. A woman, a child, and a dog.
A dog or
A dog.
Oh.
You love them unconditionally.
Right.
But when you come to man,
You have to earn your way.
yeah, you are loved because of your merit.
Today,
Today,
Willis.
we at our time, it was not like that. We had genuine love. And that's why we were able to create culture, which today is helping us so much. And it helps our children. I remember when I was renting, I had a room. It didn't have anything.
A stable.
We were calling it power room. If my children were chased from school, they go there. And they tell God, God, give our dad money so that we can go back to school. That is the culture that I had built for my children. And up to now, they know.
They accept where they are.
Yeah, they know. When they need something, They even tell their mom. They don't tell me. I believe they think their mother knows how to pray better than me. The only thing they don't know is that I'm the one who taught her.
The head of prayer.
Yeah. So you see,
even on your CV, we indica head of prayer.
We developed a culture.
Business card.
We developed a culture whereby even now, even the one who is not saved, because I have one, even when he is maybe in his parties and whatever he is, he always tells me, Dad, before I enter my car, I have to pray, because I was taught by my parents that before you do something, pray. You see, we developed a culture. So I'm telling people, and I want to support the guy who said that you form your culture.
You form it. You form your class. If you don't
form your culture, then the world will not form one for you. And the Bible says, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous is the work of the Lord, and my soul knows this very well. If your soul does not know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, Willis is not ready to tell somebody that. Roy is not ready to tell, unless you know it. You see, it is coming from you. So let the culture that you're forming know that some people will follow it. Are they going to be frustrated? Has it frustrated you? Then if it does not, come back to the junction for the right route.
All right, so we're going to take some final comments. So before that, here's some SMSs as well that are coming in as well, and the tweets keep tweeting. I guess if you have a few more, we'll take some more. But somebody says, Daniel Kita says, be content with what is at hand. And he says that God has a beautiful plan for every faithful servant.
Amen.
Come on. All right, I like that. Just keep talking to us. So even as we do our final comments in terms of this, the culture and class issue, kind of persistent karibu class, but ni sawa mutaelewa kitu ninasema yeni. All right, so we'll start with you, Roy.
I've said it's good to desire to change lanes, but the first step of learning to change lanes is first acknowledging where you are, what lane you're in. It will be the first step of maturity towards you understanding what you need to do to shift lanes. Don't be in denial. Be comfortable in your space and be ready to grow. So therefore, kama you were born for Maram roads, wesi mutu walami.
Even it was not Maram, it was just mud.
Matope.
If you're born for whatever, stick with whatever till you start shifting gradually. What we're saying is, nothing wrong with changing lanes, just don't jump the lights. Don't jump the lights.
Well, my final comment, I want to say that be humble, start from the beginning, come up slowly, use the common sense that God gave you. Don't fear to use them. Don't copy other people's common sense. You have them, although they are not commonly used. Use them, start using them, and you are going to make it into a destiny.